Blending the grit of hip-hop with the soul of country, the country rap genre has been exploding in popularity. And on this week's Spotlight Music series, we're joined by one of its leading voices. Let's welcome Struggle Jennings. Struggle, great to have you on the show with us.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor.
So I want to hear a little about your background and your music career. I know that the Jennings name may be familiar to some of us. Waylon Jennings is your grandfather, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sure he was influential in your music career, but take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, he was really growing up with Waylon as my grandfather and more like a father figure. You know, I learned a lot about keeping the integrity in the music. That was one thing that he was really adamant about as he was teaching, you know, as we were learning through his eyes as a child. And my mother sang backup for him, and we had a piano in the house. So, you know, music was just a part of my everyday life. And I always knew that I wanted to do it. And I took the dive 20 years ago, and here we are now.
How has your sound evolved over the years? I listened to some of your recent stuff, and it really does kind of fit in that country rap genre that we've been seeing a lot more of recently.
Yeah, well, I was really one of the first ones to actually ever do it. You know, I was a rapper at the time, and because I lived in the inner city, but I loved the sound of steel guitar. I loved the country instruments. You know, I loved country music so much that I started implementing it in the early 2000s. And for no other reason except for those were the two genres that spoke to my heart. And, you know, I went away for a little while and did some time, and I released first song that I did that went huge with it, and came home and there was a whole new genre birthed behind it.
Yeah. And you say that, you know, it spoke to your heart, and obviously it speaks to a lot of people's hearts. I mean, this genre is extremely popular right now. And why do you think it resonates with so many people?
Well, I mean, you got to think outside of every city, you got the country. So 20 miles out of every major city in America, you've got just a bunch of good old boys that are working hard. And, you know, they needed a voice. They love country music, but everybody loves hip hop. And so it made it, I think it was just something that spoke to a lot of those kids, people outside the cities and in the inner cities. You got a lot of southern cities that are country, and you got a lot of cities on the outskirts of major cities like in New York that are country to the bone.
Yeah.
So
tell us about your album that you released in June of this year, El Camino.
El Camino was my first full-length country album. The content's still the same. I'm just singing, not rapping. And it had always been a dream of mine to put out a full country album. So El Camino means the path of the journey. And I wanted an album that embodied my entire life emotionally. And this one did that.
And we are going to hear a song off this album, Road I Came. Tell us about this song.
So, you know, one of the things that, you know, through my journey of changing, becoming a better person and a better man, and, you know, I did time in prison, and I came home and fought to get custody of my children back, and lost the mother of my kids to an overdose. So I've been through a whole lot of things, and continuing to grow and overcome that. Once you start to become successful, a lot of people like to say you forgot where you came from. And so this song is saying, hey, I didn't forget where I came from. I'm just not going back.
I got a fresh start. I've got the rest of my days. I'll never go back down the road that I came.
That's beautiful, and your music and your story is an inspiration to many, and we get to see you live in Charleston on November 9th. Social media is a great place to keep up with you. We will have that all on the screen, and then we're going to hear Road I Came just in a little bit. Struggle, thank you so much.